What if the secret to success wasn't just talent or hard work, but unshakable confidence? Welcome to Grasp Confidence, the podcast where visionary thought leaders, speakers, and entrepreneurs unlock the mindset and strategies for lasting success. I'm your host, Tara LaFon Gooch, CEO, two-time best-selling author, and international TEDx speaker, and I can't wait to help you step into the most powerful version of yourself. Let's dive in. What if you stopped trying to be everything to everyone and started owning your lane like Ferrari on the open road? Well, today's guest, affectionately known as Princess Paula, is a keynote speaker and networking powerhouse with over 20 years of experience helping people accelerate their success. Through her signature keynote, Be the Ferrari, she inspires audiences to embrace abundance, reject the scarcity mindset, and unapologetically stand out. Buckle up. Your confidence and clarity are about to hit top speed with Princess Paula. Paula, welcome to the show.
Good morning. Thank you so much. Excited to be here.
Yeah, I love that. So you're joining us from Ontario, Canada. Isn't that right?
Well, a little south of there. So I'm born and raised from Ontario, but now I'm living just south in Wisconsin. So a land of cheese.
I love that. So born and raised in Ontario, now in Wisconsin. I love that. You're a keynote speaker. You and I have a lot of things in common. We are networking aficionados.
Yes.
That is something I didn't even know was a gift that I had until I realized it wasn't a strength for everyone. I'm kind of curious too. Like, was that a similar journey for you?
I love that you're saying that because people who are naturally really good networkers don't realize they're in a special club and that it is a unique superpower until you start going out and talking to other people and realizing they just naturally don't know these things. So I always love connecting with, people like yourself who get it, understand it, love it, and are passionate about it.
Yes, it's so cool, right? And one of my favorite things is just bringing other people together, whether it's opportunities or what can happen. But how I realized I was good at networking was actually when I left corporate America, started to go out on my own as an entrepreneur and build up a LinkedIn presence, get familiar with people on LinkedIn. And I just started networking people together. People were finding jobs because of that and, accelerating in their careers. So it really is an amazing thing when you tap into that networking. But I think the real lesson is to pay attention to what you're good at, what other people aren't naturally good at, and just own your lane like we're talking about today, right? Owning your lane. I think that's powerful.
And for people to understand that what you're naturally good at, because again, it's not that we have blinders, but when there's something you're good at, you're passionate about, it comes easy, you don't realize it's not the same for everyone because that's just the lens that you look through life all the time until you start talking to other people and you realize, oh, this is my superpower. This is what I exceed at. I'm exceptionally good at. And then being able to share that or use that to benefit others, like especially in the networking space, to your point, when you started connecting people, you're using your superpower to help others. It's brilliant.
Absolutely. So let's talk a little bit about this Ferrari mentality because I think that's extremely important. I refer to it as think like a diamond, be like a diamond. I think when you and I talked the first time, that's what I talked about was, a diamond is not for everybody. It's rare. And that's why it costs more, right? So if you act like you're for everyone, chances are even the people that really need you aren't going to see the value because you're appearing too broad, you're appearing too accessible, too familiar. But if you think like a diamond or like in your keynote, a Ferrari, you're not accessible. You're not for everyone. You stand out and you own your lane. So I think there's a lot of people out there listening to this right now. They're saying, yes, yes, yes. That's exactly what I feel like I am missing. I feel like I'm too broad. I feel like I'm too accessible. Maybe they're not charging what they're worth. Maybe they're not demanding the level of, income that they feel like they're capable of or something like that. So I would love for you to give us a little tour of what that looks like, how to become a Ferrari. Because again, there's so many people listening to this right now that are saying, yes, 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 that's exactly
Yep.
what I need.
Okay, so full disclosure, I am still learning this daily. So I have not yet arrived. There are many days where I'm walking around and self talk, saying out loud, there's more than enough. There's more than enough. So, full disclosure, this is something that I work through all the time and it's a constant journey. But let me back up just one quick step of where this came from. So, when I started my business 2 years ago, when I finally stepped out and said, I'm going to become a business owner, I'm going to just go out on my own. Well, shortly after I started my business, I panicked. Like so many people do, we ask ourselves, how am I going to make money? How am I going to find my clients? And I went to my husband and I said, I'm worried I'm not going to find any clients. How am I going to find people that I can work with that will pay me money? And it was just that sense of, I mean, sometimes we call it an imposter syndrome, but honestly, it's sitting in that space as a business owner going, how do I market myself in business development, all of those things. And my husband, who is so amazing, also my operations manager, he said to me, Paula, you're a Ferrari. And I said, "What do you mean? What do you mean?" And he said, "Paula, you are a Ferrari. You are an expensive car. You are a high-end, amazing car." He's like, "You got great curves and you run really fast." And he said, "But not everyone likes a Ferrari." And he said, "Those who like Ferraris, people who are fans of the Ferrari, they love the Ferrari, and that's, all they want to drive." But he said, not everyone wants a Ferrari. Some people want a Bugatti. Some people might prefer a Mustang. But those that love a Ferrari are going to love you. And it was in that moment that I went, everyone isn't my customer. And that's okay. Because those that love me and love my brand and love what I do, they're going to become my super fans. And there are more than enough of them to help me grow an empire and be super successful and make all the money I need. And to your point, to what you just said, was unfortunately, I think too often we're told we need to be everything to everyone, especially with the whole going viral movement. We think that everyone has to know about us and like everybody has to want our services and want to work with us. Nope, they don't. You just need a certain amount of all of the people in the world that want to work with you, and you will make more than enough money and achieve all your goals.
Mm, absolutely, 100%. And not everybody is going to be your ideal customer, and that's okay. And not everybody is going to like you, and that's okay. This is a lesson I think all of us continually learn. And I'm glad that you say, full disclosure, this is something that I'm still working on. I think we all are working on this. We're all a work in progress. And if anybody says they have this 100% figured out, then they must be a billionaire or they're trying to sell you something. So I am a believer in that. But it is a mindset shift, right? Because I think a lot of people grow up in circumstances where they're not told to offend anybody, that we're told to be everybody's friend, that, you just need to fit in and blend in. And this is kind of like how we've been conditioned, right? And for a lot of my clients, one thing that I've noticed as a brand strategist is that a lot of people are really afraid to niche down for those reasons because they're terrified that there is some scarcity out there, there's some lack out there. And it takes a lot of time to convince people that that's actually a good thing, that you want to alienate some people. What I've realized is that not everybody that needs your solution will buy it or will want it.
That's very
Not everybody that wants your solution will think they need it, right? Or needs it even. So, you're not going to ever appeal to everybody, but, to your point, it's something that I think we're all working on, and it's definitely, imposter syndrome, and getting out of that mentality and stepping into confidence, right?
And don't you find, again, you mentioned because you work with people and marketing and branding in that space. I think because of social media, because of the way the digital world is, our world has actually become smaller, that we can see everybody, reach everyone. And because of that, we think we can really conquer everything and have this large reach where I'm going to be the next Mel Robbins or whoever it is. I'm going to be this well-known name where everybody wants to buy my thing. And people think that is where you're trying to reach in order to be successful, instead of realizing there's more than enough people in just your local geographic area, or let's say your state, or whatever the case may be. You don't have to be viral. You don't have to be really big. But I love that you're working with people and helping them figure out their, what I call their USP, their unique selling product. Um,
Yeah.
Knowing who you are. So that's always one of the key things that I talk about in this, is knowing your brand. And if you want to talk about even a key takeaway, people need to know what your brand is. Taking time to work with someone like you, finding someone who can help you dial in. And we're not just talking about, your logo, your colors, your tagline, but knowing what sets you apart and makes you unique so that you can know, like for me, being the Ferrari, I know what that looks like as Princess Paula, what my brand is, how I show up as my brand, because that's how you're going to find the people, your raving fans, the people that know, like, and trust you, and you're going to build that base of customers.
Yes, I love that. Absolutely. It's so important, and it's not about comparing yourself to somebody else, right? It's not about looking at the Mel Robbins of the world and saying, "Okay, well that's what the pinnacle of success is, and if I'm anything less than that, I must not be successful." And that's why it's so important to own your lane and not dilute yourself. And I have plenty of prospective clients, let's just say, who ask if I can do one particular thing. And I say, you know what? No, but I have someone I can refer you to. Right? That's powerful. It's not powerful if you say you can do everything and you all of a sudden you're the jack of all trades, right? Then you lose your power, you lose your credibility. When I have a network, going back to networking, of people that I can refer people to, number one, it helps elevate others, but it also strengthens me and my brand position because I'm not diluting it across the span of everything, right?
Oh gosh, I love this. Yes. Okay. You're so brilliant. I'm so glad you brought this up, because too often, again, I think that's people's downfall, where they
Yes.
think they can do all the things, because we have this mentality about competition. Everyone that does what I do is my competition. At least I did for the longest time. And I always thought I need to be better than them, take them down, kind of, annihilate my competition so I can have all the business to myself. And it wasn't until I switched that whole mindset and realized there's more than enough for all of us. So you're not my competition. You are now my referral partner. And you are now someone who I can work with. Um, and so, in fact, I have a podcast, and my podcast co-host, when I first met her, she's in the same field as I am. And when I first met her at a networking event, that was my mentality still, was, take everyone down. I need to be the best in my industry, the best in the area, so that everybody wants to work with me. Okay, let's pause there for a minute. The truth is, there's no way I can work with everyone. If all of the people that needed my particular services came to me, I'd be swamped. Like, realistically, I couldn't do that. And that's why we need one another. We need a network that we can send business and refer business to. But the beautiful thing with my co-host Tara is, once I realized you're not my competition, you are my partner, you are, my counseling group, whatever you want to call it. We now refer so much business back and forth to each other. I send clients her way. It's wonderful. And that makes you more powerful as a business owner, as a business woman, business person, because you now have a network that you can send people to. And that's really, really valuable.
I love it. I love how you have another co-host and her name is Tara. How small is this world, right? Because there's not a lot of us anyway. So I just love that, Paula. It's so brilliant. What made you, obviously your conversation with your husband and he said, Paula, you're a Ferrari. What made you believe that to the point that you developed a keynote around that? And because that's powerful. And what results have you seen from people in your audience after delivering that keynote?
Okay, well, the first part of that is what really made this hit home. I mean, the moment he mentioned this to me, I literally stopped in my tracks, no pun intended. But I stopped because I realized he's absolutely right. I am very unique. I'm one of a kind. I know what I bring to the table, and there's no way I can be what everybody else is. And then, of course, he bought me a model Ferrari that sits right here on my desk that I look at all the time to remind myself of who I am and who I'm not, and just realizing what makes me unique, why people are going to want to hire me or work with me, and know that that's where I sit. Now, I've come to find out I'm not the only one who struggles with this, who walks around thinking, well, they look better, they look more successful, maybe what they have to offer is, better than what I have to offer. Again, we've labeled it imposter syndrome, but all of us often walk around with some doubts, that whole self-talk. And so with people in the audience now, it's giving them permission to be who they are. And we all need that. It's huge. As soon as someone gives you permission to just be your brand, know that there's more than enough customers that are going to love your brand and support your brand. And you don't need everyone. Again, I'm going counterintuitive to what social media is telling us. Social media pushes going viral where everyone is going to love you. Everyone's going to like your post and support your post. I'm going against that, saying you don't need everybody to love you. You
Mhm.
just need more than enough people to love you and support you, and that will help build you a successful business. But it's a little counterintuitive, and we need that permission. It's giving people permission. And I can just see when I talk to people about this that they just take a breath, and I can see them just settle into this and go, okay, I can just be who I am, be my brand, do the things I'm good at and I love, and know that there's more than enough customers to help me. I always say build my empire. That's the phrase I use. But and then to your earlier point, sorry, I know we're all over the place, but then knowing they can charge enough, charge what they're worth. Because once you realize I'm a Ferrari and it costs to own a Ferrari, but the people who want the Ferrari are going to pay for the Ferrari because that's the experience that they want.
Yes, I love that. Do you feel like when you deliver this keynote and you're looking at the audience, do you feel that shift? Can you actually see it in real time? I know I can. When I'm delivering a keynote, it's like you can see the light bulbs go off in real time. You see people's faces change and their body posture change. It's like they've been delivered empowerment that they may have never experienced before. What have been your experiences like that?
Oh, great question. I love that. And again, I go back to I'm going against messaging where most of the messaging that comes at us 24/7 is this you need to be this thing. This is what's popular. This is what's successful. If you are not doing this, you're not going to make it and you're no good. And I'm coming at it going, oh no, who you are is awesome. And your people are going to love you. And not everyone is your customer. And I just see it to your point. You see them go, oh, okay. I I can just be who I am and I'm going to be successful. I think that's where the linchpin is as business owners, as people in business, we think if I'm not doing ABC, I'm not going to be successful. And it causes us to go into areas that don't feel right and fit right. And I'm not talking about having to grow. Sometimes we're pushed out of our comfort zone so that we can grow, but this is where you're trying to wear something that just doesn't fit right. It doesn't fit on you. So rather than people just being who they are, be the Ferrari, be or For some people, Tara, my co-host, she wants to be a DeLorean. So she calls herself a DeLorean. She's like, that's the kind of car I am. I'm like, great. Dude, whatever car you want to be is totally fine. But then just know that and own it and walk in it. And
Yeah,
always remember that because again, we look around at each other. We look around at each other and we see one another and we think, oh, should I be like them? Should I maybe start doing that? Is that what's successful? Know who you are. Just stay in your lane. You will be successful. You will make all the money you need to make. You will do great things. Just stay in your lane and be who you know you are.
I love that. And, I think this is really empowering too, from a faith perspective, because people were created for a different reason. And if you don't own your identity based on your accomplishments or based on external validation for approval, but your identity is rooted in something higher than you, then it's going to be, I feel like, even easier to lean into this because you can recognize that we all have an individual purpose and we're all created for a different reason. And, they're going back to the car analogy, there's a reason why there's Mercedes, there's BMW, there's DeLoreans, there's Ferraris, there's Lamborghinis. They all have a certain demographic of people that like them and admire them and want them. And not one is for everyone, right? There's a reason why we have different. So this is so important that, from what I am gathering from this conversation is making sure your identity is rooted in the right things, making sure you own your inherent value as a human being, and make sure that you're not deluding yourself by trying to appeal to anyone and everyone. I think that there's so much wisdom there, Paula.
Well, again, I'm still figuring this out. Full disclosure, there's many days where I'll start to struggle and then I'll stop and go, you're not for everyone. You're not for everyone. And I literally will be walking around my home office going, you're not for everyone. And just reminding myself because we're constantly bombarded. Even you mentioned from a faith perspective, many times within the faith community, within the church, we look at different positions and think they're better than others. And if only I could do this, or if only I could serve in this capacity. No, you are exactly where you're meant to be. And we need everybody to operate in their strengths so that we have a fully functioning church. In the business world, we don't need everyone doing the same thing because then there'd be, no one providing these other services. You need to find what you're good at, your superpower, your strength, who you were created to be, and stand in that and operate in that.
It's so powerful, right? Oh my gosh. Paula, where can people find more about you online? Where can they connect with you? What are the best places to find more information about you and potentially hire you for a keynote address?
Oh, absolutely. So again, my podcast co-host Tara created the best website. So you could go to princesspaulaconsulting.com and there you'll find, all the links to my socials. I'm on all of the platforms. Again, we have a podcast called Royally Unhinged where we talk about these things as well. And of course, just anyone can feel free to send me an email, paula@princesspaulaconsulting.com. Let's talk. Let's see. And again, tying into this, I will always have a conversation with people to see if I'm the best fit. And if I'm not, I will introduce you to someone who is, because if I'm not the best fit for you or you're not my ideal customer, I'm not going to force a round peg in a square hole, but I will introduce you to someone in my network to find the best fit for you.
Absolutely. I love that. Well, everybody connect up with Paula. She is an absolute joy and pleasure to talk to. But I encourage anybody who is struggling to niche down, struggling to combat scarcity, limiting beliefs, a feeling of lack. Just know that all of these things that we're talking about right here are achievable for you to overcome. And when you own your lane, own your space, and do that one step at a time, you will find you can start charging more. You can start owning your value even easier and aligning with those ideal clients who you can serve at your highest potential, who also can serve you back. This is so powerful for every entrepreneur to understand. I really love that. So, until the next episode, we will see you for more confidence building strategies to help you and your business thrive in 2025 and beyond. We will see you in the next episode. Take care.